Now, Dangote Sugar Refinery has reported a 45% rise in full-year earnings per share to 90 kobo. The largest sugar refinery in Africa saw revenues flat at 108 billion naira. Joining us in the studio to give us his thoughts on those numbers is Abdullahi Sule, the CEO of Dangote Sugar Refineries. Abdullahi, thank you so much for joining us. It's good to see that the company is back on track. I think last year it was really a case of the high sugar prices, but in 2012 we've seen some containment in cost of sugar prices, and obviously that has been positive for your numbers. But talk us through the key factors that you think drove the PAT that we saw in 2012.
Well, number one item that you mentioned is the raw sugar prices. Raw sugar prices have gone down. However, our sales have moved up.
Right.
You know, we have made more sales last year in the year 2012 than we did in 2011. In addition to that, we have also had a lot of improvement in the efficiency in the refinery. So our realization, that is the yield, has actually moved up from about 92% that we had to somewhere around 96% currently.
Is that efficiency coming from power, or is it from other processes?
The efficiency is coming mostly, you know, from the factory itself. We've been able to cover some leakages, so some of the sugar that we were wasting in the past, we are now been able to recover that.
Yeah.
We have sold less molasses. Molasses is the byproduct after the sugar. We have made less molasses actually in the year 2012. That means actually we've been able to recover part of the molasses to white sugar, which sells for higher prices. You know, all these actually added, you know, for what happened in the year 2012.
What are your broad expectations for sugar prices going forward? Because I think that will be key in terms of guiding the market and where you're how you're going to perform this year. Imagine that now that it's come down, many people suggest that it's likely to stay flat, but what's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we also believe so. We believe that that is going to be that. In addition to that, you know, our group is also taking some positions. Unlike in the past where we never took positions, we just went exactly with what the market did.
Right.
So what we have seen in the year 2012, and it is showing even more positive in the year 2013, is the fact that the group is being a little more realistic, you know, taking positions where we've seen some numbers on the sugar prices that we can actually do some level of hedging. So some of that level of hedging is being done. As a result of that, you know, the results are even much better in the year 2013 than they have been in 2012.
All right, we expect to see the Q1 numbers to give us some perspective on how things are shaping up this year. But I think a key takeaway as well is the fact that you're paying 50 kobo and you've earnings per share of 90 kobo. So we're seeing some holding back of cash there. And in the past, and like many will say, in the good old days when Dangote Sugar just got listed, we saw very high payouts, but these days we're seeing a lot less. I guess that speaks to your plans to expand.
Well, it's not just for the expansion. People have to understand the new government policy right now. The government is working more towards producing sugar locally. Currently, we are importing all the raw sugar. All the 3 refineries are importing all the raw sugar from Brazil. However, what is happening is that at the last AGM, we got the note from the approval actually from the shareholders that we should go vigorously towards the backward integration. As a result of that, we acquired Savannah Sugar Company from Dangote Industries Limited. We have paid for that. You know, in addition to that, you know, Savannah is currently on about 5,000 hectares of land on cane, but Savannah is sitting on about 30,000 hectares of land. Therefore, the remaining 25,000 hectares of land has to be on cane sooner or later. As a result of that, you know, we need more investment. And this is a company that is debt-free, that is Dangote Sugar Refinery. So we have already paid for Savannah from internally generated resources. We also intend to do more. So instead of going to the market or going back to the shareholders or going to the banks actually to loan money, we paid from our own resources, and we're going to invest more to make Savannah. So more value is being added to the company without going back to the shareholders to ask for money in form of either as issue.
But how quickly can we expect the Savannah supply to come on stream into your operations?
Coincidentally, Savannah is on harvest at the moment as I'm talking to you. So Savannah is producing from the 5,000 hectares of land that I have told you.
Right.
You know, so Savannah is producing sugar at the moment. You know, and the sugar that is being produced from Savannah will be sold, and that revenue is also going to come back into the group. You know, in fact, from this first quarter, we expect to have a consolidated account, you know, for Dangote, even though Savannah is going to be treated as a subsidiary, but we are going to have some level of consolidated account that will be presented. So Savannah is going to be a very big value, and among the sugar refineries, we are the only ones that have taken that kind of step so far.
Okay, so what's the outlook for your performance this year, given the investments you've made in Savannah? Now you're saying that they're already harvesting, and that revenue should be filtering into Dangote Sugar's performance. So what can we expect in 2013?
We expect better performance than we have seen in 2012, and it has already started showing actually from the first few months that we have in 2013.
Well, how much better? In terms of growth, what can you give? How can you guide us in that respect?
Well, very soon, I think we are going to be here in the next 1 week or 2 weeks, to share with you our first quarter. Our first quarter has already been approved by the board. But the issue now is that we have to have the IFRS conversion, to take it to the market. Otherwise, it will have been taken to the market the same time our 2012 was being taken to the market. And I'm sure once we do that, we are coming to share with you a lot of good news.
Well, we look forward to that. Okay, talk to us about the how things are changing in terms of your route to the market. We know you are very focused on industrial companies, the likes of Nestle, some of the big companies in Nigeria, of course, use your sugar. But I know you've also started packing for retail consumers. And can you talk us through how that is playing out and what impact that is going to have going forward in terms of your performance?
Well, we have seen a lot of improvement in that area. When we first started, we had some ups and downs with the retail packaging because most of the Nigerian market is not so much into the retail packaging. However, with the new government policy, again, that if you have to do cubes, you have to do cubes locally. Right. And so there is a little more market now for the retailer market. A lot of people are buying that. We have employed more people, and we have now come up with new strategies on approaching the market by going to the retail shops, some of the supermarkets, departmental stores, and the rest of that. Now, if you go to all those places, you are able to see Dangote Sugar in those places. We dropped the margins a little bit from our expectations in the past, but by getting more volume, the bottom line actually is coming much higher. Now, that is on one area that about the retail packs. We are also looking the other way around. We are looking at jumbo packs. Just yesterday, I've been able to go around about 3 major customers, Chivita, for instance, Nestle, and the rest of that, who are all looking forward to either bulk delivery or jumbo bags. That's one ton and the rest of that. We are also looking at that. By the time we do that, and some of these companies are willing to sign contract with us to be the sole suppliers when we go into that. So, because they are very happy with the quality of sugar, we have improved significantly when it comes to our quality of sugar. In fact, recently we got certification, from Coca-Cola after their various tests in South Africa and then in China, that our sugar has the best quality so far for their process. So as a result of that, we are seeing positive responses, from that. So we see a better year ahead.